What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zoe with #wnba Dfs, here to bring you another WNBA slate breakdown for the 4-game WNBA slate. My wife, Blue, decided that she wanted to say hi to everybody, so go ahead and say hi.
Hi.
But we did not have any WNBA for the past couple of days, past 2 days. I hope everybody enjoyed the 4th of July, but we got the games back. We got 4 games, and you know what? I cannot wait to break it down and go ahead and make some of this money. On the past couple of days that we've had off, we've had some news and stuff come out for the W for today. Really interesting, decent 4-game slate. One of the games we already seen on Sunday. So without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's jump right into this. It's been a little minute, been a while since I posted anything. Speaking of which, if you guys are not subbed, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button so that way you guys can see I post on the community tab quite a bit. Over the weekend, I was posting prize pick slips and stuff like that on the community tab and hit on 2 out of the 3 slips that I posted up there. We hit on one of them. We hooked because Brittany Griner legit 0.3 fantasy points. Just hooked us right there. And it was honestly due to the fact she went 2 of 5 from the free throw line. Other than that, would have cashed it. Would have been a great prize picks weekend. But nonetheless, still made some money on prize picks with the WNBA slips and stuff like that. And then also, if you were in the Discord, I dropped some slips inside of there as well. So if you guys don't want to miss out on any of that stuff, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and the like button so you guys can continue to see this stuff. And we go ahead and get it out there for you guys. And if you want to join the No Days Off group, check the link down in the description below so you guys could join the Patreon. It's only $10 and you're making that back within your first week. All right, going over to break down the slate, we got the Phoenix Mercury take on the New York Liberty. And I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if this game was a wash, especially for New York Liberty, if they come to play. They're playing at home. Same starters for both teams, same people out for both sides. The biggest thing for the Phoenix Mercury is the fact that they're going to get Sophie Cunningham. She is back. She was out the past couple games with a head injury, but you got Sophie Cunningham, Brianna Turner, DT, Mariah Jefferson, and Brittany Griner. It seems like they really are comfortable running that Turner in the starting lineup at the 4, Cunningham at the 3, and Mariah Jefferson and Diana Taurasi at the 1 and 2. So that looks like that'll be a staple moving forward for them. Unless someone's out, then we'll see Onion. She'll move back into the starting lineup. Other than that, she's going to be riding the bench and still get some pretty decent minutes off the bench. New York Liberty, they're still without Dawson. She's out with that ankle sprain, I believe that's what it was for her. And then same starters, same regular for them over there. And then going over to the Fever. Biggest thing for the Fever, if you guys do not pay attention on Twitter or anything like that, they traded away Queen. Queen Egbo has been traded to the Washington Mystics, which is a big pickup for the Mystics because if you guys don't remember, Queen was a top draft pick last year. Yeah, in the last draft. So a second-year player, and kind of interesting for the fact that they actually traded her. I get it. Aaliyah Boston, she is going to be your center for the future. She is technically, what you're building this team around. Actually, did Queen get drafted last year? Because Nalissa Smith was last year. I don't know. Queen was drafted recently. It doesn't matter. Anyway, but I get it. You got your forwards and you got your center, Nalissa Smith, Aaliyah Boston. Now you're just kind of trying to round out the rest of the roster. And there wasn't really that many minutes for Queen unless Aaliyah got herself into foul trouble. So I get it. Aaliyah, she's gotten better in regards to picking up fouls and she's playing at such a high level. Not the time there for Queen. Maybe Queen wanted a better situation, so she might have asked for the trade. But Queen's been traded to the Washington Mystics. They got back Zowie B. I don't see Zowie playing any minutes. I'm pretty sure Zowie might be getting waived or whatnot. But you got that right there. Then going over to the Minnesota Lynx, same starters, same everything for them, except for the fact that Jessica Shepard, she is still out with whatever sickness she has. I'm like literally leaning towards the point of she has got to be pregnant. I don't see any other way around it because it's going on 4 weeks. It's been a month that she's been out. There's no, unless it's some crazy sickness she got. Same for her. Same thing going over into the Atlanta Dreams in the Sparks game. Lexi Brown is still out. It doesn't add up. I'm not trying to speculate like that, but it just seems like maybe they might be pregnant. That'll be one of those things that keep players out. We've seen the same thing with Skylar Diggins-Smith, where they held her out and she was out for quite some time. Turns out she was pregnant towards the end of the year. So kind of wouldn't be surprised if that's the case and what's going on right here. But for the Dream, same old. They got a game time decision for Ari McDonald. I didn't see if she practiced on Monday. If she didn't practice on Monday, I don't expect her to be back today. Then even if she is, she's going to be playing limited minutes off the bench, come back from a torn labrum, so that'll be a little bit before we actually get to see her up and running and back to the role that she was playing. Then on the Spark side, they're going to still be without Cheney. That's the biggest thing for them. So we do know that the forward rotation is going to be pretty condensed and concentrated with Hamby, Nneka, and Stevens. Stevens should still actually get her pretty decent minutes, which she's been playing much better over the past couple games. Then coming down here to the Dallas, taking on the Las Vegas Aces. We got same old for both sides. Nothing new, nothing going on right there for either one of them. Going over to DraftKings, the site that I go over here and I win this money on. And if you guys would like to join me over here on the King, you guys want to cash out with me, check the link down in the description below so you guys get that deposit match bonus and join me over here on the King. going straight into it, jumping right into it. The first game on the slate is the Phoenix Mercury taking on the New York Liberty. Like I said, for the Jesus Christ, it's been so long, I'm mixing up names. For the Phoenix Mercury, looking at them, we already know Brittany Griner, she's getting her minutes, she's getting a run. Going up against the New York Liberty, I'm not exactly too sure how well this is going to go for Brittany Griner, because if she's not getting her shot to fall, she's going up against Jonquel Jones. Then even when Jonquel's not out there, then she's going to be going up against Brianna Stewart. Depending on how that's going to go, I know BG, she can't really defend on the outside like that. Yes, she's a pretty good around the rim type of defender, can get some blocks and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if Stewie just beats her, though, especially whenever the Jonquel Jones minutes aren't there and Stewie's out there. So it's a toss-up right there. At 10-6, I'm not really too sure if I actually want to pay that price for her on this slate. It's really not looking too pretty for me. I don't think that I'm going to be going there. But at 10-6, I mean, we've seen some centers have had decent games going up against the New York Liberty, but not something that I necessarily go and I attack myself. So a little iffy on Brittany Griner. And then Diane Taurasi, she's producing, but she's not producing it at the old Diane Taurasi rate that we're so used to and that we've had in the past. Hit or miss in regards to what she's actually going to end up giving us. That's why I would kind of rather come down to someone like Mariah Jefferson, just because she's actually stuffing the stat sheet and kind of doing a little bit something, everything out there. Out of her last 5 games, she only had 2 games where she scored only 15 fantasy points, and one of them was in a tougher matchup going up against the Aces. But going up against the Storm, Dallas Wings, and the Minnesota Lynx, she put up some pretty decent numbers. And you are facing a team in the New York Liberty who do give up quite a bit of points to the point guard position and the shooting guards. So we know we can attack them at the guards. DT, like I said, it's just at 8-3, I kind of wish she would get bumped back down to in that 7K range. She's worth the GPP just because of the matchup, but not anyone that I'm running and rushing to, especially with her turnover prones. I would actually like to take the Courtney Vandersloot or Sabrina Ionescu on the other side, because I do know the turnovers will be there, and the defensive stats and everything that both Sloot and Sabrina can bring will definitely be a matchup. This is a matchup where both teams, we attack them at the guard position, but the New York Liberty guards, they went out over the Phoenix Mercury guards because the Phoenix Mercury guards have been doo-doo. Legit doo-doo. All right, Sophie Cunningham, her coming back. Depends on how many minutes she's going to actually come out here and play. If she's going to go back and get to her 25-30 minutes range at 7-1, I don't hate that. If she gets hot fire, but she's going to have that laning defense, not too sure. Maybe I can take her, but not someone that I got to feel like I have to shove into my lineup. At 7K for Sutton, I'd rather her be starting. I know she can go out here and she can somewhat stuff the stat sheet, but not nothing to write home about. And then, of course, you got to worry about Petty. Petty's going to come in. She's going to get her minutes. She's going to get a little bit of burn and run. Honestly, if Petty was actually playing 25 minutes, I would have interest in Petty because she actually is a fantasy point per minute scorer out there. But we don't have that luxury with her this season yet, especially come back from injury. Megan, Sims, Sissoko, not any players that I'm really too interested in down here at the bottom of the barrel. I know Sims, she's been getting some pretty decent minutes, but I will also say this was with Cunningham being out over those last 2 games and things like that. So not anyone that I'm running to. Really, if I'm taking anything from the Phoenix Mercury side, it'll be a flyer on Cunningham, maybe some interest in Mariah Jefferson if I have to. GPP plays for both the 2 big players mainly, and Brittany Griner is safer than Diane Taurasi. Other than that, not really looking too much there for the Phoenix Mercury. Going over to the New York Liberty side, like we said, they are facing a weak defensive team in the Phoenix Mercury. So matchups are there for everybody. I know last game, Stewie, and I'll preach this. I will continue to say this. She was priced at 12.5. I said Stewie needed at least bust 60. She busted 50. Okay, cool. If you were able to make her fit into your lineup, you get her there, so on and so forth. Great. You did pretty good. Awesome. Still, I would rather have that 60 than a 50 for a 12.5, 13K player. And it's going to be the same thing again today. Unless she's going to go out here and drop 60. And I know it kind of looked like she was going to do that because she popped off for 35, 36 fantasy points in that first half. And it was like, oh man, Stu's going to blow it up. The game was still kind of tight and close. Nope. Didn't happen at all. And she's in kind of the same spot. Now she's priced at 13K. I'm not taking that right here on today's slate when we have better matchups for Leah Boston going up against the Minnesota Lynx. You got the Aces and you got Dallas Wings on the slate. And then, of course, you got NECA, who I think she's priced at like 12.5 on the slate as well. I'd rather come down and pay her in a game that I know is going to be actual close. Hopefully freaking Rainey doesn't go off for another career high game going up against the Sparks. But there's better spots than play for Brianna Stewart. Cash games, go ahead. If you can fit her, you got the value, go ahead and play it. Regular, I'm not going to try to shove that into my lineup. I'm not going to handicap my lineup today just to get that in. Sabrina Ionescu and Courtney Vandersloot, those will be the 2 that I'm going to look at. They are literally priced at the same price that they was last time they were on the slate. Sabrina, well, she's $100 less. 8-9. She went out there going up against the Storm. 29 minutes to drop 31.75 fantasy points. She's in a spot today where she can legit go out here and drop 50 plus fantasy points, especially if she gets that 3-point shot going and flowing, going up against the Phoenix Mercury, who do give up quite a bit on the perimeter to opposing guards. That's why we saw Ariel Atkins go off going up against them. We've seen what was it, Natasha Cloud. She went off going up against them because that 3-point shot was falling and the playmaker was there and everything for them. That's why I have a lot of interest in Sabrina Ionescu and Courtney Vandersloot, because the steal upside will also be there for her, because we know how much Diana Taurasi likes to turn over the ball. Same thing with Mariah Jefferson. She could be a little flat with the ball as well. And Sloot, the assist upside, I already know that's going to be there for her. This is going to be easy buckets for everybody on the team for them. And if she decides to bring it with that double-digit scoring or anything like that for today, and possibly can give me a double-double bonus with her assist and her scoring, I love that. Still priced at 8-7. That's cheap. That's cheap for the matchup that she's in. I love this spot for her. It's too good. It's too good. This will be a spot she comes out here and flops. But I'll say cash games, I'll go with Sloot. GPP, I'll go with Sabrina Ionescu if I'm going between the two. And then coming out here, rounding up the starters, Jonquel Jones. I don't hate the spot for Jones, but the minutes, I swear, we felt like her minutes were going up, but then they've just kind of like come back down. So it's the middle of the pack, sitting at 8-5. I'll be honest, Tierra McCowan, she's kind of priced around that same price range. I'd rather kind of go to her in this spot, especially because I'm favoring the guards over any of the forwards. And I mean, Laney, you can take a flyer on if you think she's going to go out here and produce. Again, if her 3-point shot is falling and she can bring a little bit on the defensive side as well, I don't mind this spot for Laney on top of it. But again, I would rather prioritize just, finding that 1K that I need to get up here for like Courtney Vandersloot or Sabrina Ionescu. And then rounding out the bench, if you feel like it's going to be a blowout, definitely you can go to Johannes. We know that she's going to go out there and get her blowout minutes and run. This is a good spot for her where the 3-point shots can fall. She can go out here and be decent value at 5-2. And then, of course, Sabally, she's been getting some pretty decent minutes. And when I say pretty decent minutes, at least consistent minutes for her time, and she's putting up a fantasy point per minute typically whenever she's out there. Priced at 3K, I don't think you have to come down here, especially with some of the mistaken prices that that DraftKings has for us today. I don't think you have to come down here at the 3K, but definitely is there if you want to get off of some other value on the slate. Going over to the Indiana Fever, taking on the Lynx. This will be the second time that these teams have played on the season. Aaliyah Boston, like I just said, pretty much the center. She's got that wrapped up, choked up. She's got the spot. So going up against the Lynx, last time when she played going up against them, she played 33 minutes and gave us 35.75 fantasy points. We haven't seen a big scoring output game from her in a while. This is a spot where she might be able to go ahead and get back to those ways. The rebounds will be there for her as well. Maybe she can get a little bit of a block and steal upside going up against them. Last time when she played in this spot, she had 2 blocks, 2 steals, only 3 personal fouls. So clash of the rookies in this with Diamond Miller and her going up against each other. I do like this spot for Aaliyah Boston. And then if you don't want to play Aaliyah Boston, you can always come down to the value play between the two, which will be Nalissa Smith. If Boston's not getting it going, we always know Nalissa, she does tend to pick it up on the other end, especially if she can get her scoring to flow and go. 27 points in that last game she played going up against the Sky with 8 rebounds, dropped 38.5 fantasy points. I'll take a flyer on that. Definitely will be my player pool for the day, but I do favor Boston over Nalissa Smith just because I feel like this is a spot Boston can actually pop off and go for us today. Kelsey Mitchell, it's the same song and dance with her. As long as her scoring is going there, we know she's going to play make a little bit. She's worth a look, sitting at 7-9. Again, I'd rather just try to find the value and come up and get to my Courtney Vandersloot or Sabrina Ionescu on the slate. But Kelsey Mitchell, GPP play as always. Don't feel like you have to play her, but definitely worth a look if you want to take something. Erica Wheeler, if you land on that, I don't know what's wrong with you. You might want to try to find something else. We all know Erica, she can definitely pop off if she has the chance to. Last time going up against them, 24 minutes, she gave us 17.25 fantasy points. Same matchup, same thing. So if you feel like she can definitely go out there and reproduce what she did, okay, go for it. But other than that, Wallace, Hull, Cadwell, Vivian, all these players right here, I can never get them right. I'm going to be very honest with you. At 5'8", 4'3", and 4K, it's a toss-up because their minutes are just so sporadic. Crystal Wallace, prime example. She was playing upper 25, 20-ish minutes, and then she gets dropped down to lower and lower as it continues to go. And then, who is it? Hull. Lexi Hull. This just really doesn't make any sense to me. She was playing upper 20-ish minutes for the past, 3-4 games, and then all of a sudden she drops down to 13. Production, it's too up and down for them. I don't feel like we have to fit them into a lineup. And the last time she played going up against them, 10 minutes, only 1.25 fantasy points. You don't have to go there. I don't feel like we have to use any of this value right here. Again, because we have other values that was mispriced and misplaced on today's slate. Going over to the Lynx side, of course, Fee, she goes out here, she dominates, she does what she do. Definitely a spot for her once again. Last time playing up against the Fever, she played 13 minutes and she dropped 51 fantasy points going up against them. 51 fantasy points at 12.5. Again, that $500 savings from going up and playing Brown Stewart, I'll take that and go ahead and play Fee if I have to on today's slate. Or again, like I said, we got neck in the later game. I'd rather go ahead and play either one of those. But besides Fee, Diamond Miller, man. Diamond Miller has been popping off and has looked great over her last several games since coming back from that injury. 32, 34, 42.5 fantasy points. And again, gets another matchup going up against the guards of the Fever, where she could go out here and dominate and play like how she's been playing. Last time going up against the Indiana, she actually was out that game. She did not play. So this would be her first time going up against them. But when I look at the Fever, I don't feel like they have anybody necessarily that can guard her. She is a much bigger guard. She's showing her scoring chops, which I've been really impressed with her mid-range game. And she's stroking the three pretty consistently, at least getting about 2 to 3 shots up of that three ball and at least hitting one in each game. So if she's able to continue to go out here and score how she's been scoring, which she's scored in double digits every single game since coming back from injury. That's great. I don't expect that to slow down here today. And she's honestly increased every single game with her scoring. But we know she can rebound. She could definitely do a little bit on the defensive side. And if she goes ahead and still makes the pick and roll between her and Fee, the two-man game between those two, it looks really great. 8-1, I do like Diamond Miller here. Again, that's why I said I don't feel like we have to play some of the other guards like the Fever guards or looking at the PHX Mercury guards when you got value in Diamond Miller sitting at 8-1. And just doing what she's been doing has been great. Kayla McBride, GPP play, just because she's so hit or miss. She relies a lot on that three-point ball to fall. 35 minutes, she dropped 24.25 fantasy points at 7-7. I'd rather just find what I need to get up to Miller if I'm going to go right there. Dorka, she's in a pretty nice spot going up against the Fever. 25 minutes, she dropped 17.75 fantasy points. We already know Shepard's going to be out, so Dorka, she's going to get her minutes. She's going to get a burn. She's been playing at least 30 minutes in the last several games. I expect that again here today. She can go out there and score. She can block. She can get some steals, and she can also rebound. Double is possible in her future for her. Definitely don't hate the spot right here, but of course, like I said, I do like Aaliyah Boston on the other side for the center position. Lindsay Allen still starting. There's no Tiffany Mitchell. Sitting at 7-3, another value guard that you can get on today's slate. We already know her primary thing is she's going to go out there, she's going to get the assist, she's going to play make. What she does on the scoring side, defensive side, and everything else is a bonus. I do see and I do know that she has 20-ish as a floor for her, and I do like that at 7-3. So if I'm looking at a mid-level guard and I'm not trying to play like Mariah Jefferson, I would rather go down here to a Lindsay Allen if I'm looking at some value for the slate today. Carlton, Benham, Milik, all these other players down here, I'm not really looking at or going to on the slate. It'll primarily just be the starters that I'll be looking at for the Minnesota Lynx if I'm playing anything from that. Going over to the Dallas Wings, my Dallas Wings, who have been just up and down, putrid, left and right, can't figure it out, and have just looked horrible over the last several games. Going over to my Dallas Wings, taking on the Las Vegas Aces, a game that I'm pretty sure is expected to be a blowout showout for the Aces because they can't help but blow out people, considering they are at the top of the league. We are looking at a 175 total, the highest total on the slate. On top of that, it is a practically 15-point spread. And I cannot say that I disagree with that at all. I honestly don't see how we will be able to contend, how we will be able to stay with the Aces in this matchup. I don't. Now, looking at Arike in this spot, she's played fairly well going up against the Aces. Looking at Jackie Young, she's been mid-level going up against us. She hasn't really done anything. Chelsea Gray, great history. And, of course, we know we attack my freaking Wings with opposing guards, especially ones that can shoot the three ball, which is why I do have a lot of interest in Kelsey Plum. And then, of course, the playmaking and everything else that Chelsea Gray does. I do love Chelsea Gray here on today's slate. I diverted and went over to look at Line Star real quick because I wanted to see something. But Arike, 9-9, if you want to go here, again, I think there's better value in regards to us looking down at the New York Liberty guards right there. They're in a really great spot. But if the game will stay close and if anything can be done, Arike is your girl. She's going to go out there and do it. Pretty good spot for her. In regards to maybe she can land some threes. It is on the road. I do know she's kind of hit or miss in regards to what she's going to go out there and do. Again, that's why I really do have some interest in Tierra McCowan. Now, we've seen centers, they've done pretty good going up against Asia Wilson. Long as she can keep herself out of foul trouble, she can definitely get the blocks and steals. She can rebound out there with them. I feel like they might try to put like a Candace Parker on Tierra instead of Asia, and then have Asia guarding Natasha Howard, maybe that might be the matchup. But either way, Taylor McCown, she should be able to go out there and rebound as much as she wants and get some easy putbacks and things like that. That's why I do like her sitting here at the AK range. And then, of course, I know we got Sabley, we got Howard. Sabley, to me, she has the better matchup between everybody because she's going to get that Jackie Young defense. She actually is much bigger than Jackie Young. Should be able to overpower her. And looking at it, I talked about it in the last breakdown. We hadn't had a Satu breakout game in a while. She sure enough went out there, dropped 55.25 fantasy points with 27 points, 4 assists, and 15 rebounds. We've been waiting for her to go ahead and get the chops going back since Taylor McCown came back, and she definitely delivered and popped off in that last game going up against the Mystics. If we're going to want to be able to win this game, of course, Satu, she's going to have to do what she does, go out there and have a very good game. But Satu, looking at her right here in the spot, I don't hate it. Definitely GPP worthy. Same thing for Natasha Howard. If we want to look at how they've played going up against the Aces, Satu, one game going against them, she played 31 minutes. She dropped 29 fantasy points, so that's all right. And then Natasha Howard, she's done pretty good for herself. 31 minutes, 42 and 29, of course. So toss up in regards to whichever one you want to go to. Again, I'd rather go to down here to Taylor McCown because I do feel like she'll be able to go out there and at least hit value before she can. And Satu should be more of my GPP play if I consider anything right there. Kalani Brown, Dangerfield, everyone else, I'm not really messing with. The biggest value and the discount that we do have is Odysseus Sims, considering that she is priced at $3K for whatever reason. They dropped her by $700. I don't understand that. Now, I get she went out there, she played 16 minutes, only gave us 9.5 fantasy points. But again, she's a backup point guard. If this game is expected to blow out, she's going to go out there and she's going to get the minutes and run. If she scores, I already know she can play make. She's going to kill 3K. She at least needs about 10 to 12, 13 fantasy points to at least hit value for us, and allows you to pretty much play whatever else it is that you want to play on the slate. I will consider her. I will have her in my player pool, of course, just because she's so daggone cheap, but I don't think that you have to go here. I do feel like if in the other game, they priced Jasmine Thomas at 3K as well. Jasmine Thomas still sitting at 3K. We know she's going to start. If she could somewhat do something like what she did last game with Canada being out, definitely is more in consideration. Going over to the Aces, of course, you got Asia Wilson, Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, Kelsey Plum. Out of the guards for the Aces, Kelsey Plum and Chelsea Gray, those would be my two favorite ones. Jackie Young, she's going to have her hands full actually trying to guard Satu, which is going to be a mismatch for Satu. That's why I do feel like Satu has the better matchup out of everybody besides Taylor McCown going out there. Asia Wilson, really kind of don't normally pick centers going up against my wings just because it's so hit or miss and up and down in regards to what they go out there and do. But Asia's sitting at 11-6. Possibly you can go there. Again, I'd rather probably pay up and just find what I need to find in order to get up to the NECA, or, we have Wnba as our Stevens, and then, of course, you have Fee, Dorka. So different spots that we can actually pay up for. I don't necessarily feel like we have to pay Asia. The guards, this is just a spot for the guards to where they can actually pop off in Chelsea Gray and Kelsey Plum. Coming out here, Candace Parker, of course, she's still capped at the minutes that she actually plays. So, I mean, she's legit has produced, especially on the defensive side. She's producing, and then they're letting her play make. That's why I feel like Chelsea Gray, her assist is like so up and down because Candace is always out here trying to dish the daggone rock. But at 8-4, if you land on it, definitely playable. Not going to say she's not. She's definitely playable at 8-4. We know she's at least going to get us about 20 to 25-ish fantasy points, so you can definitely go there. Clark and Stokes, expect the game to blow out. We already know that the blowout queens, they'll go ahead and they'll get their run. Stokes, she's hit or miss in regards to what she's going to go out there and do, but this is a spot where she can collect some blocks. I don't mind that. Of course, Clark, she'll be the safer of the two because she doesn't rely always on the rebounding and the blocks upside that she has to get. Everyone else, not messing with or going there. Going on to the last game on the slate. If you guys are new here, you guys enjoying this content, you made it this far, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you guys do not miss any of these uploads or anything going on over here on the No Days Off DFS channel. If you guys are wanting the Patreon or any of the plays that I'm playing, the prop plays, anything that we have, all the content that we have for MLB, all the sports that we have, check the link down in the description below so you guys can join the No Days Off Patreon. It's only $10. I promise you make that back within your first week. Going into this last game, the Atlanta Dream taking on the Sparks. In all honesty, I will be 10,000%. I didn't expect Rainey to go out there and do what she did. She went out there and had herself a game. She dropped 43 points, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 4 assists, 2 rebounds, and a legit curb stomp of the Sparks. It was a bloodbath. It was crazy. It was crazy what she did. 61 fantasy points. Do I feel she's gonna go out here and do that again today? No. By any means necessary. No, I do not think she's going to go out there and do it. Now, I'm going to give my disclaimer. I thought the exact same thing for Courtney Williams when she played back-to-back games recently. And honestly, back-to-back-to-back games, she's gone out there and dropped 40-plus fantasy points. So take what I just said with a grain of salt. Rainey might come out here and drop 70 this time. But do I expect it? No, I really don't. GPP play, if anything, yes, she has the matchup to go out there and do what she does going up against the Sparks, but I don't feel like we have to pay up for that 9-3 when I have other values at the guard position that I can get to and play. Between her and Alicia Gray, Rainey will still always be the GPP play for me. Alicia Gray will be the cash game play because she's more consistent and I rely on her more. I believe that she can go out there and she does what she does, and it's pretty safe. This could be the game where Rainey, she popped off last game. This could be Alicia Gray where she pops off because, as we've seen last time, Alicia Gray popped off with 42.75 fantasy points going up against the Washington Mystics. And then, and Rainey, she had a mid-level game. She dropped 38.75. Now she comes out here, she drops 61, and Alicia Gray only drops 20-plus fantasy points. So, still between the two, Alicia Gray is more safer to me, especially in cash games. And then Rainey Howard, she'll be more the GPP because I'm not going to rely on lightning striking twice in this exact spot. The Sparks, they got to make some type of adjustments or something because you cannot let her pop off for that again. Nia Coffey, she saw her minutes go from she was playing really steady, did really great, to all of a sudden only played 12 minutes. I don't understand that. But I will say her shot is falling. She's scoring. She's doing very well in regards to that, and that in turn is letting her produce at her fantasy points. Sitting at 6'6", though, I'm not sure if I'm going to play 6'6" for Nia Coffey. Again, I don't know what flavor of coffee I'm going to get on any given day. I don't feel like I have to come up there and pay that for Nia. That's going to be a no-go for me sitting at that price. But definitely someone that you want to play, you can definitely go to. No update on Ari McDonald. Just keep an eye out for that. At 5'9", she's still not worth being played anyway. Haley Jones, she's losing her minutes. But I will definitely be coming down here, and I'll go down here to the Monique Billings. She's seen her minutes. They've been pretty steady over the past couple games in regards to what she's going out there and doing. She's getting at least 18 to 20-ish minutes out there, and she's producing at a pretty decent level. And I do like that for her. She dropped 20.75 fantasy points in 18 minutes, sitting at 5'1", decent value. If I land on it, I don't mind going there in this spot. And finally, of course, when I'm not on Danielle Robinson, she finally goes out there and has the Danielle Robinson game that I've been expecting for her to go out here and have. In 21 minutes, she dropped 23.75 fantasy points. Only one foul this time, so maybe she's learning her lesson. Now, I will go right back to the well at 4-7. I do not mind this. I do not hate that for her at all whatsoever, because if she has learned to keep her hands to herself and can still go out here, play pretty solid defense, dish the rock, get us a couple of rebounds, and get her shot to fall, which she went 0 of 2 from 3, 2 of 6. If we make this a little bit better, she's going to give us a hell of a lot more fantasy points, at least maybe 25 to, I'll give her 28 fantasy points. She can definitely get that for us out there, and I do not hate that at 4-7. That's pretty good value on today's slate, especially in this should be the second highest scoring game, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, sitting at 168, so second highest scoring total on the slate. I definitely do like that for Danielle Robinson. Asia Durr, Hillman, Letitia, all these in consideration. Letitia, they like her. They've been giving her minutes, but for her, she's hit or miss in regards to what she's going to go out through. She's really not going to get nothing unless it's garbage time. I learned my lesson last time. At 3K, worth the flyer, but wouldn't play that unless you're multi-entering and you got a lot of GPPs going. Last team, the Sparks. Looking at them, of course, we know it starts and begins with NECA. I'll be going right back to NECA, sitting here. Last time, in 24 minutes, she dropped 39.25 fantasy points. In 24 minutes. Now imagine if NECA plays her full 30-plus minutes a game. She could definitely pop off and do way more in this spot. 25 points, 3 steals, 1 block, 5 rebounds. She's playing very well. Now, I know in the last spot, I didn't talk about Cheyenne Parker. That's just because Cheyenne Parker, her minutes have been all up and down, and I'm honestly just not on her for today. Her minutes are just too sporadic all over the place, and in all honesty, I think NECA is going to just go out here again and give her the business and the work, and at that price tag, I'd rather just come down and pay for Tierra McCon. So, the reason why I skipped over that. Canada is expected to be back in this game, so we don't have to worry about anything in regards to that news for this one. Hopefully she can come out here and she can deliver in her time back. That shoulder, hopefully it does not give her any issues and problems. I don't mind going to Canada at 9K. Again, there's some other value on the slate that we can go to at the guard position, but they are going to need Canada to actually go out here and set up, play, make, and do what she does in order for them to have any type of chance in this game. So, as always, the top 2 for the Sparks, they're in play. De'Erica, Hamby, and Stevens. Hamby, she's going to get the minutes that she can play. She's going to go out there and play 30-ish minutes. And once again, she's back to her producing ways. She's scoring, she's rebounding, and she's doing a little bit of something out there at all. At 8,200, I don't mind going to her as well, just like that. She's only 200 more than Tierra McCown. So if you don't feel too safe with Tierra McCown and you want to pay down for value, you don't feel like paying up for NECA, I don't mind going out here to De'Erica Hamby. And if you want to take the GPP flyer on my girl Stevens, who has popped off in that last game, 13 points, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and 9 rebounds, and then back to getting her 20-plus minutes a game, she popped off for 32.75 fantasy points. I don't mind taking a flyer on the other unicorn on the slate in Stevens as well. Carly Samuelson, she's going to be out there. She's going to play. If her shot can fall, she'll do really well. If her shot's not falling, she's not going to give you anything. GPP play sitting at 6K. Don't feel like we got to go down there. Now, the other mispriced player on the slate, I will say this, is Jasmine Thomas. I understand her minutes have been all over, up and down, and I honestly do not understand what they are doing for the Sparks. I don't understand the minutes rotations, because one game it looks like, okay, she's trending in the right direction. She's going to go up and she's getting ready to play 20-plus minutes a game. Then we come out here and we pull this where she only plays 14. Now, from my understanding, I didn't see that she got hurt, didn't see that she got injured or anything of the sort. They just ran more of Henderson and Zaya out there. Now, Zaya and Henderson, they're much lower on the totem pole in regards to plays for me today, specifically because Canada's back. Jasmine Thomas, I have her on the slate and interested in play if she's going to actually get her minutes. I got her for at least, I say about, I'm going to give her 18 minutes. I don't see any reason why she only played 14. Again, if she can get her shot to ever fall, she'll actually be able to break a slate, especially priced at 3K. I will consider her, but she will be a deep GPP. The way that I see in regards to building on today's slate, you got to figure out your value. We went over a couple of good value plays, especially considering Lindsay Allen, she's still priced pretty good in the 7K range. Mariah Jefferson sitting in the 6K range. That's pretty good. And then, of course, we have the value with the Sparks. You do have Hamby. You don't necessarily have to pay up for NECA, but NECA, of course, she is in a really good spot. But De'Erica Hamby, she's priced pretty well. If you want to take a GPP flyer on Azara Stevens, that's a good spot that you can go there too. Diamond Miller, priced at 8-1. The value is there. Value necessarily doesn't mean that I have to look for a 4K to 3K player. I had someone today ask me on YouTube, what's the secret to scoring over 200 plus on here? The secret is figuring out your value, the players that are in the right spot, and then building it out. You don't have to try to shove in these big 12, 13K players, which I stress that every single time I go over a slate. Most nights, I'm building pretty balanced. I'm not necessarily, unless someone is widely just priced completely wrong, I'm not necessarily always going to a 3K, 4K player unless they're in the right spot. I know they're going to get the minutes and their point per minute value is there. If it's not there, I'm not really going to consider that player. I will go for a more balanced build and try to get my 7 to 8K range, maybe my 110 to 11K player, and building out from there. And if everyone at least hits their floors and someone pops up for a ceiling game, I'm scoring very decently. That has honestly been the secret and tip that I've done this season. More specifically, I built on it from last season, and that's how I've been cashing out pretty consistently over here on DraftKings. So if you're trying to figure it out and you're wondering, that's pretty much it. Maybe one of these days I'll do a complete video on my complete process for over here on DraftKings so you guys can get a full understanding of what it is that I'm looking for specifically and how it is that I'm building out my lineups. But it's just like anything else. You're looking at the matchups, you're figuring out who's in the great spot, who can actually hit value for their price, and just building from there. You know, of course, paying attention to news and everything, all that stuff, it helps out. Definitely is a lot, but sometimes too much news is too much because then it clouds your judgment in what it is that you're trying to do and what you're building. So with that being said, guys, it's your boy Zoe. I hope to see all you guys in the green. You guys got any questions for me? Talk to me down in the comment section. Let's cash out. Let's have a good week before WNBA All-Star starts up, and we are back without a couple of games for a couple of days. Good luck to everybody. Talk to you guys in Discord or on Twitter. Peace.